Hello, back with the Florida Forester again. So it's been a couple weeks since I wrecked it now, and I don't think I even remembered to post the video of the damage to it and stuff. But I will, of course, before this one, so you probably already know. But anyway, um, so the bike has been down for a little while. I bought new front forks off of Amazon. Not the most expensive. In fact, probably the cheapest that you can find. They are $200 for the front forks, and I will link them. I was having issues with getting the bearing race to go onto the front fork because I'm an idiot. I didn't think about the fact that it would be press fit just because it was not press fit on the original fork. So took it to a local bike shop and had them work on it. But I unfortunately couldn't wait. So I went and got the bike yesterday and I just finished putting everything back together, and I got the battery on. We're still at 1,001 miles, just like I was whenever I put it down. Um, so let's see. As for the shock, there is some issues with it. One of the biggest concerns I have, or two of them rather, are safety issues, unfortunately. One of them being that the front uh, caliper bracket has a little bit of a gap down here where it mounts to the shock. As you can see right here, I can fit my fingernail in there. So there's the caliper bracket, and that's the shock, and there's a little bit of a gap there. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I tightened it as much as humanly possible, and I mean, there's not much more I can do at this point. Another thing I'm not a huge fan of is it's actually missing some screw holes. Unsurprisingly, I mean, not everything can be designed for my bike specifically, but it's missing a few screw holes down here for the fender installation. Or, I shouldn't even say missing. On this side, it's not missing any screw holes, they're just the wrong size. On this side, unfortunately, it is missing a screw hole. And so I'm going to try to see if I can fashion some way to mount the motor cable and the fender to the same hole. But I guess we'll find out. The other issue that I have is that I'm fat for a bicyclist. I'm 250 pounds, and I'm 5'10", 5'11", somewhere in between. And so this bike's air pressure rating down here, which, in case if you want to see it, so for 220 pounds, it recommends 120 psi. So unfortunately, the tire pump I have only goes to 120. So I have it there, and I'm still able to, like, jumping up and down in the garage here. I'm able to bottom the shock here / frame out on the tire, which is very concerning because if I'm making a big jump and I land and the front wheel locks up because I compressed the suspension and now I'm, flying over the handlebars. Definitely not a good day, I would say. Hopefully I'm able to tune that up a little bit with the compression here. So there's a little knob that I can turn to adjust the compression. I don't know anything about how this works, so I will be learning as I go. The other issue that I had with it is that, so the head tube was very long on it, and I'm going to see if I can get my local bike shop to cut it down without me having to wait 2 weeks with it being in their shop, because, so I had that washer, that washer, that washer, and that washer on my old one, and I would like to keep it around the same height. So I need to get, like, all of this cut off. It's kind of a lot. So significantly longer than I needed, but I mean, it's not designed for my bike, it's a universal, so it's realistically a good thing. Let's see. Oh, I guess I'll go ahead and show you the old fork in case if you wanted to see just how badly I messed it up. So, as you can see here, very crooked. Yeah, extremely crooked. But it is going to be going into the trash. And also, I couldn't get the headlight off because the bolt I had on it, I have it installed backwards apparently, and it is very, very bent, as you may be able to tell. If I can get the camera to focus without hitting the wrong button. There we go. Very, very bent. So yeah, the only thing I have left to do now for the bike to be, I would say, like perfect is, like I said, I already got the front tire installed, or might have said, I don't know, this is the second time recording this, but I got the front tire installed here, new tire from Amazon. I can also link that if anybody wants to know what it is. It was like $100 for the set, and it actually came with a lot of stuff. It came with inner tubes, it came with valve cores, it came with valve caps, and I think it came with a die too, to like, I don't know what you would use the die for. Maybe the valve stem tube, or the valve stem threads. That's the only thing I can think of, but I have no clue. Wow, this camera is literally the worst. So yeah, I just need to get that tire installed, like I said. And then also, the front motor's been acting up because of this bad spot in the cable from where it got chopped in between here on the old forks. So I ordered a new controller, and here's the new controller. Luckily, you know, this is directly from Floto, by the way. Luckily, they did a really superb job at waterproofing it, as you can tell here, except for the fact that it is actually literally the worst. So whenever I received it in the mail, it was like this. So it wasn't me messing around with it that made this happen, but I'm really glad it happened because it made me inspect everything closer. So, as you can tell, this is waterproofed very poorly. Or could tell if this camera could like start autofocusing. What is this? How do I stop this? Is that autofocusing now? I think it is. So, as you can tell, it's waterproofed very horribly. So, I'm going to have to put some real attention to detail on this to get this waterproofed properly with some silicone instead of, this is just hot glue on here. Like, literally hot glue. It is the worst. Not only that, but luckily that made me check all these connections. And so, let's see if I can find it again. Sorry, it's going to take a second. Oh, there it is. So, this connector here also has pinholes in the hot glue. So, make sure that if you get a controller from Floto, that you waterproof it yourself. And maybe even take the one that's in your bike out, because if this is the quality of the parts that they're giving me for me to install, I can't imagine the parts that they installed themselves. Also, if you're curious, that's the controller for you. So, yeah. Hopefully I'm able to get the other tire installed and get that controller waterproofed within the next couple of days, and be able to do a proper review of this shock, as opposed to, because I haven't ridden it at all. I mean, I've bounced up and down a little bit in the garage here, but so far I'm not very impressed. But yep, I guess, let's see, we got 1,001 miles. Oh wait, no, it's 1,020 miles. I forgot that my odometer is 20 miles off. So got 1,020 miles on the bike before riding with the fork. So we'll see how many miles I get before I do a review on it. But I'm glad to see the bike is doing good, ready for a ride. I'm definitely ready for a ride. I would totally be out there riding it right now, but it is pouring down rain. So I hope you guys have a decent day, and yeah, that's about it. If you have any like questions, comments, or concerns about this shock, make sure to put them in the comments so that I can answer those questions in my review. So yeah, have a good one.